Welcome to Randy's Cash. Today we're going to be doing a penny album fill. I have three Whitman penny albums, and this big bag of coins was given to me by a good friend. He's an older gentleman I used to work with, and he has no children or anyone, so he decided to give it to me because he knew I'd appreciate it. I know a couple of the things that are in here, and some are some things I've never found in the wild, which is pretty cool that I'll be able to have them now. And then there's some stuff in there I have no idea what I got. So I got mainly, he said it's mainly wheat cents. So he did say there's one Indian head in there at least. So I did get an Indian head album. These are all Whitman albums. They're about $5 each. 1909 to 1940 and the 1941 to 1974. So I'll get into it. As I find stuff, I'll bring you back and we'll see how much progress we can make on the albums. As I find things, I'll just lay them over their position in the book. And then at the end, as I find better ones, I'll switch them out, and at the end I'll put all of them in place and see how much progress I made. Okay, I'll give you a little bit better look at all these. See what we can see at first glance. I see a lot of wheats through here. He mentioned he had these tax tokens from Missouri. He wasn't really sure anything about them. I'll have to look them up later, but I think what they are is you get them for sales tax if you buy something, to keep track of how much you pay in taxes and use it for your tax return. But they're pretty old. I don't think Missouri's used them in a long time, but I'm not sure. So here's an interesting find here. It's looks like it's a Canadian dime, but an old one. The date's worn off. Looks to be silver, but I can't be sure on the year. But I do believe that's a Canadian, so I'll keep that to the side. See what else we can find. See here, it's a peso from 1965, and I'm not so sure on if older pesos are worth more than regular pesos. I'll have to learn a bit more about pesos. I go to Mexico pretty often, so I have a lot of modern pesos around, but I never see them this old, so that's pretty cool. There's a quarter in there. It's a 65, so 64 and before are silver. 65, you find a lot of 65s, not so much before. So when I find 65s, even though they're not silver, I usually tend to keep them because they're just older and on the cusp of being silver. Not usually worth anything extra, unless you find mint state. And when it comes to coins, it's all about the quality. Let's keep on looking. See if we find anything. It's a Canadian penny. See if we can see a date on that. On the wrong side there. Yep, 1965. I guess I'll have to get a Canadian coin album at some point. Okay, so I have a bunch of wheats. And wheats, I still find them in bankrolls fairly often. Not a lot of them, but you find them. So I'll go through and I'll put some of these in the album, and then I'll bring you back when I find some more cool stuff. Just wanted to bring you back and show you this wheat penny. It's not really anything special, it's just got some cool toning on it. Wheats are cool, but they're usually not worth very much. Usually, I think they say about 5 cents on average. Of course, conditions everything. A mint condition one's going to be worth something. But the ones that are worth something to look for are the 1955 double die obverse. So when you say obverse, you're talking about the face side. On the face side, on the double die one, it will show up really good on the date there. And I don't have any. I'm not that lucky. If I ever do find one, I'll let you know. But that's one to look out for. And then this is another one that he told me was in there. It's a steel penny from 1943. Those were the years they made steel because of World War II. They had copper shortages, so they did steel instead. These are magnetic. This one's in kind of rough condition, but I've never found one in bankrolls, so I'm pretty happy to have this one anyways. These ones aren't really worth much either. Maybe a little bit more than the average wheat. However, there are some known that were made in error that are totally bronze and they are not magnetic. And if you do find one of those, you're looking at 6 figures. But it's very rare. It's like winning the lottery. It happens, but not to me. Okay, so one of the other wheat ones to look for, and I don't have any of these either, but I'll show you its place in the album, is the 1909 S VDB, and the VDB is the initials of the artist that designed the artwork. But look at the mintage on it compared to the others, and that's why that one's valuable. And if you find one of those, you're looking to be probably a little south of $1,000. If it's in really good condition, you could be looking at north of $1,000. But those are some of the key ones to look for. And as I was talking, I happened to stumble across one of these other ones. 1900 Indian head. I've never found these in the wild. I have one that I bought in my binder just for a keepsake because they're really cool. I've heard of people finding these in bankrolls. Someday I would love to, but this will be a good one to put in the album. It's in pretty good condition. And Indian head pennies for these later years, they were made from 1864 up until 1909, and they're the later years, like this one, it's only worth a couple bucks, but the earlier editions, they're worth a lot more than that. But I'm happy to find it. Okay, I pulled out some of my more interesting finds. These are some more of those tax tokens from Missouri I was telling you about, and there's actually a metal one too. It's really hard to read it. It's in rough shape. It says sales tax receipt. So I'll have to do some more research on those. There's some cool foreigns I found. This is a Palestine coin from 1927, so that was before modern Israel was created. And it is 1 mil. Then there was also this German coin from 1924. I believe that's German. Then I got a lot of Canadian pennies. 1958, 1964, 1946. Oh, here's another interesting one. Let's see. 1946 farthing. Guess I'm not sure. Is that from from England, the UK? I'm not quite sure on that one. This is another old peso. Let's see, 1958, 1956 Canadian, 1947 Canadian, 1950 Canadian, 1959 Canadian, 55 Canadian, 1949 Canadian, 1940, 1959, and then I found two more Indians. It's a 1904. It's in rough shape, but I'll take it. Then a 1907. It's in a little bit better shape. If you're liking this, please think about liking and subscribing. I'd appreciate it. So this is my first video, and I'll bring you back when I finish going through my wheats and show you how much progress I made on my album. Okay, I made really good progress on this book, but these other two, not so much. And that's pretty common when you're looking for wheats. 40s and on are a lot more common to find than the earlier issued ones. But overall, pretty good fill. I still got a lot of wheats, multiples of wheats that were ones I already filled. So what I'll do is I'll end up just rolling those and keeping them for my collection. But thanks for watching. I hope you liked it, and there will be more to come.